Call the meeting to order. Open the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the activity reports. I've been on vacation, but we did have an airport commission meeting, and there's a couple items related to that. Item J under new business and item B under old business. And that basically is my report. Councilmember LeBeau.
I had a budget and finance meeting. I attended the LMC Improving Local Economies Policy Committee meeting. We had an area center board meeting, and then I also attended the Lake Association annual meeting.
Oh, okay.
How was that? That was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Councilmember Hertzberg.
I had the finance meeting.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Ranky.
I had, there was an EDAP meeting, we had a joint planning meeting, and here I am today.
Here you are tonight. And Councilmember Gilmore.
Just an EDAP meeting.
All right, thank you. We have two department head reports to hear. First one will go with liquor store, Bill Ludwig.
On your desk there, I handed out some paperwork where sales are up 18,000, almost 19,000 for the year, 2.3%. Profits up about 1,300, just a little bit under 1%. We're off to a great start for the first half of the year, so hopefully it'll continue on. 4th of July was fantastic with it being close to the weekend. Sales were up about $8,700 over the previous year, so was very pleased with that. As you look down at the bottom, we are down about 1,100 transactions this year. A lot of that happened, if you remember right, in the spring with ice fishing not as good as it could have been, but our average sale is up $1.38, and then our items per sale is up as well. So a couple things that we keep track of, and I'd like to know where we're at. You'll see pages 2 and 3. You can compare our sales from last year to this year of what those items are. And again, you know, Busch Light's number one. But I find it ironic that we sold the same amount of cases year to date, are exact as last year. So, and pages 4 and 5 go into where the categories break down, high tier, mid tier. You're seeing, and this is industry standard, high tier, your buds, your mix, sales are continuing to drop on those higher items as the craft beer industry continues to grow, and the mid tier, which is Busch Light, Miller High Life, that continues to grow as well as Canadian. So we are following the same thing that a lot of our brother and sister stores are doing as well. So we are still taking donations for the troops. Our annual July thing that we do, and we're giving it to the American Legion. We're taking cash and items that they need, batteries, CDs, books, items that we can ship overseas, and Painesville American Legion will take those proceeds. In August, we're doing the first ever with Coors. In our association, we're doing for the fire department. For the Relief Association, we've talked to the fire department. August 16th, we're going to have several of them out there from 4 to 6 p.m. We'll be collecting donations for their cause. And we're still working out a lot of the details of what's going to be out there. Andy and I talked briefly today. So we're excited about doing it. It's our first annual one that we've done. So we're hoping that'll go well. And then August 22nd at the American Legion, we're going to do a walk-around event, kind of goodbye summer, hello fall, believe it or not. And kind of a thank you for coming this summer. And that'll be from 6:30 to 8:30. So just kind of put it on your calendar. We're still thinking about a theme. So we're still working out the details, but we do have the date set. So that's my report.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Well, good report then. Then we have Fire Chief Andy here. Mr. Sliney.
All right, to start with, we'll start off with the calls that we've had over the months of May and June. We had 7 medicals. We had 1 car accident, 5 fire calls, 3 alarms, and 1 mutual aid. Currently, where we're at with the new hires that we hired about a year ago, we have 2 of them that still need to take EMR training. And then we did just recently hire 3 additional firefighters, and they have to do EMR and firefighter 1 and 2 training. The last trainings that we've done as a fire department over the last 2 months basically have been relaying water, pump operations. We did a scene size up, hydraulic ventilation, and then, as some of you know, we did actually do a house burn on a Saturday for some excellent training with the college. Let's see, new purchases. We do have our side-by-side on order. It should be here by the end of the month. And we do have the insert and the trailer already that just came in today and last week. So we're getting our stuff coming in. Some of the new upcoming events are basically going to be our fundraiser is going to be in October, and we're going to start selling tickets in September already for that. So, which is right around the corner.
All right, thanks, Andy. Any questions for you or the department? All right, good report.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then we have before us the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from those 8 meetings listed on page 1. We have an update for the vouchers on page 1 of our update. Item F is being pulled from the agenda, the investment advisor, and then we have updates for in regards to item G and H under new business, the conditional use permit from the Painesville Community Service Center, and then the item on purchasing of laptops for council members if they request them. So that is the consent agenda, and the vouchers total $1,037,991.26.
In your honor.
Yep.
Just for council's knowledge, I did go over to asset management and try to speak with Jeremy. He was not available. I didn't know he was even there. I did speak with Kayla. Jeremy would like to have a sit-down talk, so that's why I pulled it.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by LeBeau, second by Hertzberg to approve the consent agenda. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. All right. And,
Came last week and forgot this week.
well, these may be still running away. We'll hold off on item A. We had a request from Superintendent Bullard to come and give us an update on the upcoming referendum. We'll hold that off. Then we'll go to item B, the DNR registration and titling the electronic license service agent, the contract with the deputy registrar, and Renee will give us an update on that.
This is a 5-year agreement with the Department of Natural Resources to allow the city or the Motor Vehicle Department, DNR, to be able to sell renewals on boats, snowmobiles, and ATVs, and title and transferring of those items. Does not include fish and game. We send our credit cards through the same machine as we do our motor vehicle, so it's 2.49% on those transactions. It's the standard language that we had. They didn't make any changes to the previous contract, just extended it 5 years.
I'll make the motion to authorize the mayor to sign the State of Minnesota Department of Natural Resources registration and titling electronic license system agent contract with the Deputy Registrar of Motor Vehicles.
I'll second that.
Motion by LeBeau, seconded by Gilmore. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. All right, thank you. Then we have a couple gambling permits here. First one is from the Painesville Baseball Club. That's on page 15, and that is for October 14th at the football field as part of a football game there.
I'll make a motion to approve the Minnesota Lawful Gambling LG 220 application for exempt permit from the Painesville Baseball Club Incorporated to conduct a raffle on October 4th, 2019. Second.
Motion by Gilmore, seconded by Ranky to approve that request from the Painesville Baseball Club. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. And then the next one is from the Tri-County River Bottom Bucks or whatever that is there, the RBB Chapter Minnesota Deer Hunters Association for one on September 13th at, that would be at Queen Bee's Bar and Grill.
I'll make the motion to approve the Minnesota Lawful Gambling LG 220 application for exempt permit for the Tri-County RBB chapter of Minnesota Deer Hunters Association to conduct a raffle on September 13th, 2019.
Second.
Motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Ranky to approve that request. Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None. That carried. Then we have a request coming through the liquor store for a upgrade to the automation system. Bill says you'll give a verbal report.
Sure. So our current company that we work with is Right Software. They've been there since 2009. They are changing their format there with Microsoft. That is canceling in 2021. They're going to the cloud retailer. We've done some research. I've had several of our friends in other stores that have gone with them and have had success. But of course, it doesn't come cheap. It comes with the cost. And there's a monthly fee to maintain on the cloud. We did have, the owner actually personally came down and had a meeting with Renee and I to answer all of our questions and concerns. We've sent a couple of emails out as well. And so we're looking at upgrading. We did talk to Budget and Finance, and at that time I asked for $8,409 as a total package, but since that Renee and I have talked, there's a customer loyalty program that I'd like to implement as well for $450. Other stores are having success with it. I'd like to try on that as well. So the total package is $88.59 for a total, but $24.75 of that is a maintenance bundle that we pay as we have questions, have things lock up on the computer that they can work on. So that is just a regular maintenance package that we do every 2, 3, 4 years anyway. It just depends on how much you need them. So they do set up a computer for us to practice on for 2 to 3 weeks. So all staff, because it's going to be new to everybody. So the other company, there's 2 companies that work with our association quite a bit. He was in our store, asked him for a quote. He was going to get back to me, but he's had a couple issues. So I have not seen that quote. So we'd like to move forward with Right. We can use a lot of the same hardware. It's just the software that we need changed.
Are there any continuing costs related to the customer loyalty program, or is that?
That's part of your monthly
Oh,
maintenance.
it's part of the monthly maintenance,
It's
okay.
a $450 up front.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase of the upgrade to Right Software 25-hour bundle of support, customer loyalty program, and handheld inventory unit, totaling $8,859 and a monthly fee of $139.
Second.
Motion by LeBeau, seconded by Ranky, as on the action sheet, page 24, for that upgrade to the liquor store software. Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That carried.
Thank you.
All right, item F is pulled down to item G, conditional use permit. This is coming through the planning commission here, and we've received a request for a conditional use permit in regards to the building that the community service center now owns, the old funeral home. They're seeking to have that used as residential, and I guess I'll let Renee give us a full update since she's been at planning commission and working with this.
Yes, we have the potential owner in the audience with us tonight. Appreciate you guys coming. He is interested in making the former funeral home into apartments. They are not Section 8 apartments. They are market rate. We had the conditional use permit hearing and planning. We had probably a dozen people there, more concerned about the tenants that will be there. Then in the parking, he has at least 2, if you have smaller cars, you can get 4 inside, and at least 4 to 5 outside. So we had plenty of the parking for the 4 units. The planning commission approved the conditional use and recommends it to the council. Any other questions that I have listed on the action sheet, the things that were brought up at the hearing?
Do you have kind of a ballpark rental figure that you're aiming for as far as like monthly rent?
Roughly 700.
Okay.
I'll take it, yeah.
What's that?
It'll take more, yeah.
No, I mean, we need housing in that
But I don't want to
bracket,
get it so
so,
high that,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
the average person can't afford to come in there.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's great, we need that.
Now, it does say in here that, you know, it's not intended to be Section 8 or whatever. Can that be made part of the permit? That it is not?
Sure, I suppose you can place a condition on it, yeah. I mean, that's,
I've got rentals all over Minnesota, and I will not do Section 8.
You will not do Section 8?
Absolutely not.
Too much paperwork.
Mhm.
It isn't the paperwork, it is, they don't take care of it. They ruin them, they wreck them.
Okay.
There's more cost involved than it's worth.
Well, I will make the motion to grant the conditional use permit for the Painesville Community Service Center.
Second. Motion by LeBeau, seconded by Hertzberg to grant the conditional use permit for Painesville Community Service Center. Discussion. Bill, did you have any questions, concerns? You've been working with this, so,
oh,
okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? None? That carried?
We just missed it tonight's night.
No, you have to stay.
Thank you.
That should be one of the, we should have made that a condition of the,
Yeah, the state.
just Flanders.
all right, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Should be a fun project.
Okay, then on to item H, purchase of tablets, laptops, and Renee will give us a, yep, good night, verbal
Thanks for coming.
report on that. Kind of getting backed into a corner here because of changes to Windows 7, I guess, and let's see.
So Windows 7 is going away at the end of the year, so all the laptops that are in here, the council's laptops and the one that we used for the projecting, will all need to be replaced. So I did some research. It was suggested to look at the tablets or the 2-in-1 laptops. So I took to Budget and Finance, 2 recommendations. They were the Microsoft Surface 6, Pro 6, and then comparative to that, I found an HP Spectra X360 laptop. The question was the weight, try to keep the weight down so it's not so bulky. The Microsoft Surface is a 1 pound, 1.73 pounds, and the HP Spectra is 2.92 pounds. Sean had emailed me this afternoon and asked if I could please call Microsoft and see if I could get a better price. So in your updated packet is the price from Microsoft. This is, I just went off their website and then talked to a colleague there, but I added in the keyboard because otherwise you'll need to use the keyboard on the screen. And the pen, it's a specific pen for the laptop. So with that being said, they are, and then we got a 6% discount because we're a business. So it brought it down to 1635 approximately, to switch, to talk to them. Or in your packet, I also put in there, if you just, if you're not gonna be doing anything more than 2 meetings a month and you just wanna get on to watch the PDF, Dell right now has a sale on laptops that weigh 2.5 pounds for $794.83. So, Budget and Finance passed the action on to council. They didn't make any recommendation. And a decision doesn't have to be made tonight, but it should be made soon so we could get them ordered.
Well, one thing I have is that, our laptops never leave here, generally.
I would prefer to have something small, like a tablet size, that I could take to conferences and other, like the policy committees, where I could actually take notes rather than
I think for
handwriting.
the, $800, you can carry one a little heavier.
So I will say, I take mine everywhere, and I use mine for business and separate it so that I can use it for this. And you could buy me a new laptop, and that would just sit here while I continued to use this. Because what I can do is I can take my PDF on here of the agenda and I can mark it up with my questions. I can highlight areas of concern without printing off 100 and however many pages it might be for an agenda each week. So, I mean, yeah, it's a significant expense, I can't deny it, but I've found for my business use and council that I use this way more than I would a regular laptop. This thing, the one that we have now, is a paperweight to me, whereas the Surface or the HP Spectre would be useful. I would ask that if it were the HP Spectre, that we either figure out what pen it takes so that I could purchase one individually, or suggest that we purchase them with it. Because some of the cheap, like $10 styluses don't necessarily work well, at least from my experience, and maybe the HP is different, but they just don't necessarily work as well as the pens designed for the particular machine. I would suggest the Surface, but that's what I'm used to, that's what I know works well for me. And it lets me at least try and be paperless.
I'm just looking at it from the financial aspect. I use my own laptop and I'm perfect with that, so it's up to the rest of the council as to what they're.
I can't see making the taxpayers pay an extra $1,000 a piece for really just to make it a little bit easier for what we do. Nah, that's a lot of money.
And you can all get different, you don't have to buy the same. Just informational. Neil?
Neil,
What would you use? Pencil and
Probably,
paper?
he did say he would still want the printed out
Oh.
agenda.
of course.
What's the difference between the Chromebook and
So
the?
it's, yeah, I'm not an expert, I don't have.
My understanding of the difference between the Chromebook and the Surface, the Chromebook is going to have, it's like it's a different operating system that requires you to be hooked onto the internet at all times in order to use most of the functions. And I think there are some that have touchscreen functionality, but I don't know that they quite have the markup.
I just bought one for my daughter's one with the pen that has the full markup on
It does, okay.
Yep, and that one was 500.
Was there a reason that we,
I don't know how it works with PDFs.
I don't.
did we look at iPads? I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it different operating systems, or you had to have the
It's-
iTunes account or something?
I didn't even research iPads. We don't have any type of Apple devices hooked onto our network,
Okay.
so I don't know, but I mean, I can definitely look into iPads if you have an interest in that.
I would say, at least
I
just
hate
from,
'em.
again, my experience, not relating to this, but business-wise,
iPads were really good at like entertainment consumption, but not necessarily business productivity.
Yeah.
So I mean, we could maybe look at the iPad Pro, but then we're looking at the same cost.
Right,
as
I
the
looked at
Surface.
those and those were, yeah.
Right.
I mean, without, like, just the device without the keyboards and all that stuff, they were starting at $80,
Right.
so.
You've got a city one, right?
I only use this when I'm here.
Only use that one in here.
Otherwise, I have my other laptop over that I go through the whole agenda with and everything. So that's only here to go, so I don't have to have paper.
Would a suggestion for each council member to submit their own personal preference?
I would prefer that, I suppose.
Okay. And then see what that total would be. Go from there.
So we gotta get a rock and chisel for Neil?
Yeah.
I have a plan.
You have a plan?
Well, I've got the 3 desktop units in for the 3 people in admin that have to be changed out, so what I'd like to do is get all the computers here and have Marco come out once, because it's gonna cost about $1,200 to have him come out and set these up, so. Do you guys think you could tell me in the next week or so?
I can tell you right now that I'm satisfied with my
And
laptop.
And I'm gonna go with the $700 one to replace this one.
Okay, so if you could,
I guess my personal preference would be the Surface Pro.
Same. I will add, it was also helpful when we were at the league event last weekend that I was able to download all of the materials off of the league site and able to look at those, pull them up, look at the links on them and take notes while we were at the league event up in Duluth. So I thought that was helpful and one additional use.
I do rely on my phone a lot for some of that. You know, but screen size is obviously a lot smaller and not quite as functional, but, you know, it does work. So I'm satisfied with what I have, so.
I personally prefer not to use my personal devices for city business.
And also, that's a
Separation.
big part of it for me is, I know I've talked with Bill and people from the league about making sure that my work stuff is maintained entirely separate from this, so that if any e-discovery requests come in, I'm protected there. And having a separate device that works the way I need it to would really be helpful in that manner.
This is a personal one, but I only use it basically for city stuff. I have another laptop, which is
Right.
personal on my desktop, so.
So Neil and Len, what would you,
I'll think about it a little bit.
okay,
Is it okay?
yep.
Can sleep on it, but that's about it. Okay.
We need a motion for everybody to
No.
submit their own, or
Will it come back for approval at the next meeting?
You want it to come back?
Yeah. Yep, put it on the next meeting agenda. Okay, then on to item I, TRICAP has informed us that they no longer want to work with the city. They have bigger fish to fry or whatever, so Renee will, I guess, give us a full update on that.
I have reached out to them to have a closing out meeting with their director, Simon, and Doris Washington. They came back and said that they would meet with me the week of August 12th to kind of find out what each of them do to possibly just convert this to our building official, to do the inspections and the lineup and see what the paperwork is. We may have 1 to 2 of these a year, and a lot of the projects have been closed or will be closed out because they're over their 10 years. So, and at such time as we apply for a new small cities grant, I think we should make sure that in the contract with whoever is assisting us, that they are obligated to stay for the term. Because HRA kind of stayed in long enough to take all the money, for administration, and then they left. And TriCap has better things to do, so. So,
What happens to this 36,000?
what that is out there for is anybody in the downtown area, the rentals up on top, or anyone just on the outskirts of downtown that has a single-family home that needs any type of roof, windows, heating or cooling, that kind of stuff. They can apply for some of that money, and then they have to get a quote from a contractor. And then we need to go in and make sure that there's no lead-based paint, like if they're doing windows.
So if we end with TriCap, that money is still there? just-
Yep, we just have to do it ourselves.
And all the money that TriCap has given out, their contracts are still good, so it still goes back to them.
No, they don't get any of this money.
Not this money, the other ones that are out there right now, the other loans they have out.
That should come back, that should come back
It's
to
all
the city
city.
once TriCap's out of it.
We pay them per loan. So they're all paid up, except they have one invoice for $12.50 that is
Okay, I was just wondering.
outstanding, but otherwise, we don't owe them anything.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to accept the contract termination notice from TriCap for their services of the Small Cities Development Program effective August 1st, 2019.
Second. Motion by Gilmore, seconded by Ranky to accept the contract termination notice from TriCap for the services of the Small Cities Development Program effective August 1st, 2019. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, not carried. Okay, and as was mentioned, we've got an airport item coming up here, hangar rental rates, and our airport manager happens to be here tonight, so he'll give us an update on what we're doing there.
Okay, thank you. Yes, the airport board took up some of our main sources of revenue, and obviously that is hangar rents. On the new hangars, one of the things that was discussed actually for years already was having a daily unit available, or weekly, monthly, and establish some rates for that. We do periodically get pilots coming in wanting that, if they're here overnight or for a week, obviously they want to keep their hangar in, and obviously that, the one that we had the little incident out there last year, he also asked for a hangar out here for several weeks, but obviously we didn't have anything to give him. Just some of our existing prices out there though. Our fuel upcharge is 46 cents. The north facing on the existing hangar units, those are $100, simply because in the winter time, there are several months where they may not be able to use them. South facing hangars are 120, and our private land rent, or the private hangars, are at 10 cents, and that is 10 cents or $300, whichever is higher. And on the commercial land, it's 20 cents plus or $600, whichever is higher. So we did a little bit of a survey there, and as you can see, most of the communities are less than where we're at. With that information, the board had recommended that we fill these here new hangars up and then bring this back, and they will review it again, because I think they all agreed that our rates are even very reasonable, and after the discussion, they did recommend the rates that we have on the bottom, with the daily hangar rent at 30, the weekly at 150, the monthly at 250. The existing south side hangars would be at 120, and the north side existing 100. The fuel upcharge would stay at 46, and then the private hangars and at 10 cents or $300. And the private hangar commercial would be at 20 cents or $600, whichever is more. So,
Ron,
questions? Yes.
do we have much demand for daily or weekly or monthly?
Yes, there is. There's,
So if you had one or two available for that, they would be used most of the
I think we will definitely make more revenue off of those one or two units than we do the others, yes.
Okay.
And one other question, Ron, on the private hangar and the commercial, you had 10 cents and 20 cents per square foot, or 300 and 600 repetitively, whichever is higher?
Correct. Yes, so if they build a, say a 40 by 50 unit, that would actually only come out to $200, but the minimum charge is $300.
Okay, minimum.
So Ron, should that be added in this motion?
Correct,
Yeah.
yes, please.
Okay, well, there's no,
As we're looking at the other cities, do they have a waiting list on theirs like we do on ours?
I guess I did not ask them if they had a waiting list. But with the cost of the hangars being what they are, there's very unlikely many communities will be building them. Chuck, maybe you can verify that.
Yeah, I think, as Ron mentioned, with the cost of these, where the hangars are heading, it seems to be becoming a challenge to build them. You're having to use a lot of years of your entitlement funds to actually construct these. So hopefully the prices either stabilize or go down. But the trend has definitely been increasing.
then I'll make a motion to set the following airport hangar rates: daily hangar rental at $30, weekly hangar rental at $150, monthly hangar rental at $250, existing south side hangar units at a new hangar rate of $120, north side existing hangar is $100, fuel upcharge 46 cents, private hangar $300 minimum or 10 cents per square foot, the private hangar commercial $600 minimum or 20 cents per square foot.
Second. Motion by Gilmore, seconded by Ranky to set the airport rates, airport hangar rates as on page 63, with the addition at the private hangar, 10 cents per square foot or 300, whichever is greater. The commercial, 20 cents per square foot or 600, whichever is greater. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Any discussion on that? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None? That carried. And now, lease and, or purchase of copiers. Renee?
So our 60-month lease on the copier that we have leased from Marco is up at the end of this month. So I've been working to get 3 quotes for the council. So I worked with Marco, Minnesota Coordinated Business Systems, and Minnesota Computer Systems, Inc. And so I gave them all the same specs that are on page 65. And then the police department, they are not allowed to print to our fax machine or our copy machine because they are on Stearns County's network and it's a closed network. So everything that they want to print on the copy machine, they have to put on a flash drive and then come up here and put it in the copy machine and then print it off the flash drive and go back there. So because of that whole time that it's taking them to do that, we looked into seeing if we could find a cheaper copier to be back in the police department, similar to the liquor store. Bill had gotten a good deal from Minnesota Computer Systems and got a colored copier at the liquor store for a good deal. So, so we got the quotes, and they're pretty much equitable to each other. The machine that Marco is suggesting is an upgrade to the one we have right now. It's just a more current version. We have had little to any problems with this copier. Previous copiers have been quite painful, but the staff feels this has been a very, very good copy machine. The price actually would go down $50 to $450, $125 a month. Right now we're at $525 a month. And then it would be plus $1188 for shipping of any supplies. And we kind of capitalize on that because when we order everything. So it's $1188. Coordinated Business Systems, they're new in the area of selling. They have a tiered pricing, and they were more expensive than either Marco or, they were at $516 for a 60-month lease. Minnesota Computer Systems was next, actually was cheaper than Marco. They were at $353.45 for a 60-month lease. So I talked with Budget and Finance and I went back. They said, because we prefer what we have, because we know how well it works. So I did go back to Marco and he brought his price down to $425 from the $451 to try to get closer to Minnesota Copy Systems. And then Paul compared quotes from all three on purchasing, and he recommended to Budget and Finance to go with purchasing one from Marco for $1,600 plus $1,750 per month to pay for the copies. And that would just be added onto my bill, so I just have to break that out, that $1,750. He does have the money in capital improvement for the $1,600, and that would allow them to wirelessly print from their phones, their laptops, or their desktops. They would need to be taking time to transfer documents and walk around. This would also help with the recommendation from the Post Board's audit that there should be less traffic out of the police department and between the admin staff and the police. So that would allow them to do all their printing back in the police department.
No, Renee, they're buying that for $1,600, but they're paying $1,750 a month for what?
Yep, so that is for their copies and their
Toner,
incidentals.
print.
So it's like a toner package?
Yeah, Bill pays $25.50 a month.
Right, because I use a lot of color. So, then they provide the service to fix anything, plus the toner.
What did you say the monthly one would be for the Marco? They brought it down to what?
$425.
$425.
From the 451.25.
Yep.
With the other one, wasn't there, that one that was a little bit less expensive with the MCSI, wasn't there additional like service fees and stuff that were on top of that monthly fee? Didn't we talk about this stuff down here being additional?
And that was all included in their fee.
Okay.
No, there was no additional, it's just we didn't have any experience with it, if it was gonna be as durable as the one we have.
And we are currently happy with Marco's service.
Yes. Yeah, we call for help on that when it does have a hiccup, and they're here usually within 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours. And they've always been able to fix it on the spot. We've never had any type of issues with them getting it up and running right away.
I think if we're happy with them, we should probably stay with them, and with that, I'll make the motion to approve a lease for 60 months for Marco for a Canonia C654E for $451.25 per month.
It'd be $425.
Okay, yeah.
They lowered it, sorry.
$425 even?
Yep.
$425 per month plus $11.88 for freight of supplies for the municipal building and the purchase of an HP E5754 ODN copier printer for $1,600 plus $1,750 a month for copies for the police department.
I will second that.
Motion by Hertzberg, second by LeBeau to approve a lease for 60 months from Marco for a Konica 654E for $425 per month plus $11.88 for freight and supplies for the municipal building and a purchase of an HPE 575540D and copier printer for $1,600 plus $1,750 per month for copies for the police department. Discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? None, that carried.
Thank you.
All right. So let it be. And then the demolition loan application, and Renee's been doing some research here on demolition of the Corner Drug and Eats and Treats building. There's some loan money available there. She's going to give us an update on that.
I attended a webinar from DEED, and the two things that were on the webinar were redevelopment and demolition. And most people were on there for the redevelopment. I was trying to figure out a way that we could get the Corner Drug and the Eats and Treats buildings down. That seems to be the eyesore that people are concerned about. And there is money available. I did present this to EDAP. You can apply there, it's twice a year in August and in February for demolition funds, and it's to purchase the property. The property has to be in the municipality's name. So the money is for purchasing it, the asbestos assessment, the asbestos removal, and the demolition. And you put in how much money you have that you need for that, and the time frame. And then if you're awarded, you have that time frame to get it done. There's no extensions. They don't want you sitting on it. And so, and then you have 2 years to resell the property, or you have to start paying the money back at 2% interest. If you do sell the property in that 2 years or any time after, the 50% of the loan would be forgiven. And so I thought it might be a way to get those buildings down. I know originally we were looking at $100,000 to take them down. The other caveat is it has to be vacant for a year, which the drugstore building has. And I thought there hadn't been anything going on in the bottom of Eats and Treats, but there has been renters in the top. So we'd only be able to go for, we'd have to buy the other building on our own, because it has to be vacant for a year. All the other criteria fits for the Corner Drug building, but to take Eats and Treats because it wouldn't qualify. There's been people living in it, so,
There's still people living in it?
yes,
Is there one apartment up there? Or?
yes. And they have tenants, so, they are still willing, to sell. They truly believe that that would be the best thing for the community, is to take those two buildings down.
Are they willing to negotiate?
They said just call them and they're willing to talk. I did suggest at the EDAP meeting that if this 200,000 or 200, whatever the price, I was using 200,000 because I thought I could do both buildings, would start having to be paid back. It would come out of the EDAP's revolving loan funds because it's economic development. And the EDAP board did not want to participate at that point. They believe it's a good program, but they do not want revolving loan funds used to finance it. So, I can work on it and do something in February. If you are interested, I can bring it back then, or I can try to get it in by August 1st, but I just thought I'd bring it forward as some ideas.
I think August 1st is, there's too much to unknowns to get this accomplished, but I strongly like to go ahead for the February, have some facts and figures, and I don't feel some of the buildings are worth much, if anything, and see what we can put together. It's definitely worth pursuing.
Because the whole thing is, we don't have to do anything if we don't get the grant.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just paperwork on your part.
Yep.
Great.
And I have probably 50% of it done already. I would just need to get the quotes in for the asbestos removal and and the demolition in writing.
Is August 1st the deadline, or is it?
August 1st is the deadline.
I don't think that's feasible for what all needs to be done.
No. Wouldn't,
Do we need to table, or do we need a motion to go ahead for the February?
It was just for discussion, so if the council would like me to be prepared for a February submission, I sure can have that
yeah,
ready.
we don't need a motion, just, you have our
That's what I would recommend.
consent to go ahead. And then that would only be for the corner drug building because of,
But in essence, it's gonna have to be both.
It would be
We are,
Yeah.
the loan would.
one can't come down alone, as we verified last year.
right. But, I mean, the only other buildings that I know there's been absolutely no activity in is the theater and the old Super Value. But we can watch those and see.
And
But we know the drugstore building
know-
is the main.
we know that the Eats and Treats doesn't share a wall with
Right.
the building
Yep.
next to that one. Okay.
Yep, so, just trying to
Yeah.
get them down and,
February seems
Okay.
much more realistic.
thank you, I will
Yep.
have that ready for you.
And I understand the new realtor is, wants to talk to you.
I heard that.
Yep. Okay, good luck. All right, then, down to item M. We have a request from Central Minnesota Credit Union for EDA to, oh, go ahead. I don't want to steal your fire.
I'm actually gonna defer this to Bill.
Okay,
The credit union, brought to the EDAP board, recommendation, a request to subordinate our economic development loan to the credit union. They needed to do, redo the loans for Blue Stem, and with the increase in the loans, it put us in the middle of their two loans. And so they wanted us to subordinate to them to become, we would remain in the second, but we'd be behind a larger amount to the credit union. But Bill, were you able to visit with?
I did. So, I mean, I don't understand exactly what all went on. I guess, I was a little confused about because currently there's a first mortgage on all the lots for $224,000. And then our loan for $35,000 is in the second position on the three commercial lots, lots 1, 2, and 3. And there's an SBA loan that's a line of credit that's behind us for $50,000. What I understand the credit union wants to do is they want to increase their loan that would be secured by lots 1, 2, and 3 to the 267.5. And then they want us to subordinate, or they want to have the first position on those residential lots separately for $35,000. And then our mortgage is only on lots 1, 2, and 3. Mr. Stanley is suggesting that we take all 7 of the lots, that we amend our mortgage to cover all 7 of the lots, but we're behind mortgages on both if we do that. So, I mean, that's what we're being asked to do.
how many lots altogether? 7?
7, so there's 4, you know, originally, originally I had talked to him about the lots, the residential lots, but he didn't want us to take those as collateral because the plan was they were gonna sell those and apply the proceeds to the commercial loan. So it didn't make sense for us to get in front of that, so we didn't. Well, plans changed, I guess, but I mean, I don't really know. I mean, it's hard for me because I don't know values. I mean, you know, I think a commercial business like that, it's hard to speculate about what it's worth, and the residential lots are equally hard to know. I mean, I they seem like they'd be decent residential lots, but I don't know what they're really likely to sell for. I mean, they've been for sale for a long time and they haven't sold, so.
Well, it's no secret there's a water issue out there.
Okay,
So it's probably highly recommended for patio homes
gotcha.
because they've had a lot of issues,
Okay.
wet basements.
That's news to me, but patio homes are a popular thing, so
They are.
maybe that's not all bad, but still it is a limitation on the use, you know, so it's, gotta take it into consideration. So bottom line is we're being asked to be behind much more debt. Renee, you know more than I do, but I mean, there was an issue, apparently the building that they had originally planned to put up didn't meet weight loads for Minnesota, and so they thought they had a plan and a budget, and it turned out they had to use an upgraded version of that structure to meet the building code here in Minnesota. It costs more money. I think that's at least part of what's driving this. I don't know all the details of it, but that's apparently part of what happened at the credit union. The credit union ended up financing more costs than had been anticipated.
And Chris did abstain from any action at the economic development meeting. And they did approve, they did recommend to subordinate. But it was the hoop building that they grow the product in. The original was not regulated for Minnesota wind or snow load. And so they had to put up a $90,000 more expensive building so that it didn't collapse under the weight of wind or snow, and that increased the amount of money they needed to borrow.
Well, even going a second on for the 35,000 to bring that kind of a company into Painesville, I mean, it's nice to have something over there, something looking good. We gotta do a second on it. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to be optimistic and think it's not gonna be an issue and they'll just be here forever and they'll make all kinds of money and be successful and pay the loans back.
But Bill, did you say there's also a $50,000 SBA loan on there in the third position?
Yeah.
It would be behind us.
Okay, so that's going to
It's a line of credit. I don't know that money's out. It's just a line of credit. It's an operating line.
And how many years is this?
I can tell you. I gotta look though. Sorry. Be in here somewhere, you'd think. 20 years with a 10-year balloon. So it's financed over 20 years, there's a 10-year balloon. A lot of times we do have a history of people coming in and asking us to extend it to the next, for the next 10, but
So
that's the way it's currently set up, is a
20 max, 10 balloon.
Yeah. 20-year amortization, 10-year balloon.
Well, I'll move to approve the subordination of the revolving loan to second mortgage on all lots.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ranky, seconded by Gilmore to approve the subordination of the revolving loan to second mortgage on all lots as presented there. Discussion. All in favor, aye.
Just to be clear, my understanding was SBA would subordinate to our position. They're already of record, I guess, but, and I don't think we're gonna really lose our position because we're only gonna amend our mortgage. I think we can do that and just add the lots, but otherwise, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, none, that carried. All right, on to old business, Green Step Cities on page 98. Been tabled and discussed and bringing back now, and we do have the resolution there authorizing the city to participate. If the council wishes.
Do we figure out how much time that's gonna take for you, Renee, or?
Did you guys Were you guys able to find out any more information at the annual conference?
They had a list of the cities that are meeting their objectives and all this and that, but after thinking about it and seeing and the amount of legwork and paperwork involved, I think we can be a green city without making it a proclamation. And having criteria put on us that if we build a new building, we have to have a green roof or solar, or I think we just take it step by step and do the best we can. So my recommendation would be to
Move on to item B.
not approve. Not approve. To be, but not to be, right?
B, yeah.
I think that was Shakespeare.
Yes, very good. You remember something from high school? He was in your grade, wasn't he?
That was Macbeth.
Oh. Okay. All right. I sense we're moving on to item B.
Dinner time.
And, which is in regards to the airport flying, and Mr. Merg will give a verbal report here too. This is coming from a special meeting we had the other night.
Yes, the new airport board is building quite a bit of new enthusiasm for the airport, and one of the items, obviously, is the airport fly-in. As the flyer states here, we'll have Lifelink out there. Airplane rides will be $25. There'll be a car and a tractor show out there, bouncy house for the kids, a canine demo. The Civil Air Patrol will be out there. The RC Fly Club will be out there. And a number of other items. Let's see, hamburgers and was it pop and chips or a hot dog will be $5. So very reasonable. I hope everybody can join us out there. Building off of this, they talked about next year already, possibly putting on an actual air show. So it looks like it's, hopefully we'll be here to stay for a number of years again.
I move to authorize the 2019 airport fly-in.
I second that.
Motion by Rinky, seconded by LeBeau to authorize the 2019 airport fly-in. Discussion.
I'm gonna miss the breakfasts. Just gotta note that.
Oh.
I liked when it was pancakes out there.
Well, it was decided to start at a little later
Yeah.
rather than what, 8, I think we, or 9 or earlier.
I think normally previously they started at 7:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like morning before church.
Yeah. And to change the menu and add some new things here, so.
That's
Any
good.
other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? None? The airport commission thanks you, and we'll see you out there. Then we just have informational, we have the August, September meeting schedules, a report from the fire department, and West Central Sanitation's report for July. And with that, we are done. Thank you, we're adjourned.